What's happening, guys? Animega here. I'm here for the episode 2 review. I'm sure you guys saw the episode 1 review. This one's just following up with it. This episode is episode 2 of Duel Monsters, or the original Yu-Gi-Oh show. Well, unless you count season 0, but still. Anyway, this one's called The Gauntlet is Thrown. This episode is just as iconic as any other in season 1. I'm not gonna lie, all of them are iconic, every single episode. But I'll go with the rating and the 5 points of the episode anyway, and then I'll give the MVP of the episode, the character who did the best in the episode, just like last episode. Okay, so going through with my 5 points of this episode, what I love about it. First point, if y'all remember, and this is what the drawing is that's happening right now. If y'all remember near the beginning of the episode when Joey asks Yugi to go to have his grandpa teach him how to play Duel Monsters. He takes him to his grandpa's shop, and you can see grandpa putting up a poster. And I wondered if anyone ever noticed this, and I've seen on online chats before in the past, people have, but it's more rare than you think. The poster he's putting up actually is foreshadowing for like 28 episodes later. What happens 28 episodes later, which is the duel between Yugi or the Pharaoh against Mai. And it clearly shows, Blackluster Soldier dueling against Harpy's Pet Dragon. And it's the moment when he summons Blackluster Soldier, Mai's in shock, and he goes for the kill of Harpy's Pet Dragon and ends her hopes of winning the tournament. So that was that moment. There was just clever foreshadowing by, I'm guessing it was foreshadowing by the anime, by the show creators, and it was very smart. I don't remember if Takahashi did that in the manga, but in the anime, that was so clever. So that's the first point. That was incredible. I love that foreshadowing. Second point, Pegasus. This is a spoiler for the MVP of the episode, but Pegasus stole the show in this episode. He completely did. What he did when he first showed up, I was like, wow, this guy is similar to my personality. That's how I feel about him. His personality is close to mine. That's how much I love Pegasus. He is so flamboyant. He's so funny. He's so full of life. That's what I love about him. I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with me, but I'm sure there's quite a few that would agree. He was one of the best villains of all time in any media, in my opinion. There is one villain who tops him, in my opinion, later, but we won't get into that. But for now, he was the best, one of the best characters in general. His personality is amazing. You know, when he's getting attacked on purpose because he's allowing Yugi to do this to him. Because he's mastered his item at this point, and he has no fear of Yugi or the Pharaoh or anyone. He has zero fears. He's completely confident in his power, and I love every second of it. Just of course, all the Yugi boys and all that is all great as usual. Yeah, that second point is all I need to say about him. He stole the show completely. His deck, I always thought his deck was very unique, even before his Toon deck he gets later. This deck, the Dragon Piper type deck, was very unique, or illusion deck, I mean. So that's the second point. The third point is this is how they first introduced the items officially in the show. And I love that they get Pegasus to do it because he's such a great storyteller. He really is. Ashizu does it later, about as good as him, but he is a very good storyteller. So that's the third point. I love that. The way they brought it in it built it up so well. It makes you so excited and tense. You don't know what's going to happen next when you first watch it. I remember very clearly watching this episode and thinking, this guy's invincible. I mean, the Yugi beat Kaiba, but how's he going to beat this guy? He comes out of nowhere and has this broken item that allows him to steal souls. So the fourth point, of course, I can't talk about this episode without talking about the duel. The duel is amazing. It's a really great duel for how quickly it goes by. Just like the first episode. I think it's not quite as good of a duel as the first episode, but it's very close still. The famous end of the duel where they both still have life points, but Pegasus has I think like 500 more or something. I think Yugi had 700. He had 1200. I think he had 1200. Pegasus had 1200, and Pegasus is already clapping it's already over, Yugi boy, like that, or I've won, or I think he said something along those lines. And right when he says that, the Pharaoh's pulls out, he pulls out Summon Skull, ready to attack, because in the show, the monster Pegasus has out on the field is illusion faceless mage, and basically equipped him with a spell called, or a magic card called Eye of Illusion, and it basically reverses all magic attacks back at the opponent. But in terms of Summon Skull, he doesn't use magic officially. So he could just go, that's why the Pharaoh calls it a physical assault when he goes in to attack Pegasus. Pegasus, you could see, is visibly frustrated. He does like that. And Summon Skull goes in. I didn't see anything about to happen, but Pegasus did place a card face down before he started clapping, before the Pharaoh's turn started. So with Pegasus with his eye, he should have known that would be coming. So I have a bad feeling. I'm a huge Pharaoh fan. It hurts to admit it, but I think Pegasus, regardless, would have won that duel. It just seemed to be going in his favor, but I'm glad that it ended like it did, because I always counted it as a win for Pegasus, but not a loss for the Pharaoh. That's how I count it. I think that's fair, because Pegasus really talked a lot through the time limit. There was 15 minutes, and he talked through like 7 or 8 of them. So I think that was a ploy by him just to test Yugi or the Pharaoh and see what he's made of. And just in case he gets the upper hand near the end, he could stop the duel, which he did. So that fourth point, that I've always debated that point. Who would have really won if they continued? The fifth point, the famous moment where Grandpa's soul gets taken. Yugi, Grandpa, that stuff. I love it. I love the way Pegasus reveals his eye, because you don't see his eye the whole time since the first episode until the moment the moment I'm drawing right here, where he unveils his eye. I love it. I love it so much. It just is so sinister. This is about one of the most sinister moments Pegasus had. He's exerting, I don't know how to draw a chin, by the way. He's exerting so much confidence. I love it. Everything about Pegasus I love. So I'm just a huge Pegasus fanboy. So that was the fifth point, the famous grandpa moment. I mean, there's so many famous moments in the show. I could go all day on them, but I won't. Anyway, those were the 5 points of this episode. The rating, I would rate it. If I had to rate it, I would probably rate it 9 out of 10. It was very amazing, but it just was slightly not as good as the first episode. Just the slimmest of margins. It's still a legendary episode. Introduces the items, introduces Pegasus, stakes are raised, and the tournament's thrown for Duelist Kingdom. Everything's done correctly. It just was all so well done. I give it a 9 out of 10. In my personal opinion, and the MVP of that episode is, you guessed it, Pegasus. His personality is amazing. I love it. I'll always love it. And whoa, gray-faced Pegasus there. Anyway, so 10 out of 10, episode MVP Pegasus, and those were my 5 points. I'll see you for episode 3, which will be the journey to Duelist Kingdom, and there's a million famous moments in that episode also. So I'll see you guys for that video. All right, thanks for listening and watching. Bye.